148 years ago, George Frederick Holmes, our university's first president, stood where I stand today. He began his inaugural address with these words: "I come as a stranger among you and feel the usual difficulties of a stranger. I come not as a stranger. I am one of you. I am a product of this university, and I welcome you to the inauguration of the university's 15th chancellor." Thank you.
Gloria, I mean, you don't matter.
Dr. Kite, did you kick barefoot?
But I played without a helmet. I didn't wear shoes. We had shoes but no helmets.
My memories are mostly good. I didn't enjoy chemistry very much. Chemistry was hard, but other than that, I thought it was terrific. I love the people, I love the faculty, the staff, the students, the place. I'm from the Gulf Coast, and I got pretty homesick and miss that seafood from time to time. But most of all, from June 3rd, 1956 until right this minute, I just loved it. I just feel like I came home when I came here. So I loved it all.
Can you just, in the big spots, just a little
Well,
soft?
what we hope is that
Tying it sight unseen, is it reasonable thereof?
24 hours. Would you do me a favor? When they're lining up, the students will be lining up, and that's...
Oh, I understand it. Lord,
John, where is your dad?
he is retired to Mountain View, Arkansas.
You'll be walking up the middle aisle, come all the way up. Frank will lead you to the first rows on the north side.
Oxford, 1248 AD. That's how you refer to it. And I'm going to say, and Yazoo City, Mississippi High School.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chancellor of the University of Mississippi, Robert C. Kayat.
I accept this medallion as a symbol of the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees.
I accept this medallion as a symbol of the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees.
And pledge to care for and strengthen the university.
And pledge to care for and strengthen the university.
So that through the pursuit of excellence in education.
So that through the pursuit of excellence in education.
She may continue to serve the people of the state of Mississippi, the nation, and the world.
She may continue to serve the people of the state of Mississippi, the nation, and the world.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Please welcome Karen Moore, Chair of the Ole Miss Women's Council, and Mary Susan Clinton, Legacy Event Chair.
Good evening. I'm Karen Moore, and this is Mary Susan Clinton, and obviously we did not coordinate our outfits. We look like Hottie and Toddy.
Or Hottie and Toddy. Wow, this is a hard act to follow watching this. Robert, or affectionately known to us as RCK. The Ole Miss Women's Council welcomes you to the 2016 Legacy Award honoring our beloved Chancellor Emeritus, Robert Conrad Khayat. We would like to issue a warm welcome to the Khayat family, Margaret and her husband David, Robert and Susanna, and their precious children who are not here tonight, Molly, Ben, and Betsy, Robert's sister Kathy Murray, and his cousin Mike Khayat and his wife Kathy. Welcome. You know, they say behind every great man is a woman, and I truly do believe that. Robert's beautiful wife, Margaret, is unable to be with us tonight. As many of you know, she suffers from Parkinson's. But she sends her love and gratitude, and she would love to be here. And we are live streaming this evening to her right now. So let's all give a big hello to Margaret Khayat.
For the past year, Mary Susan and I have enjoyed working on this dinner. When we first met with Robert, he told us, he gave us pointers, and he said, ladies, do not be afraid to take the road less traveled. Do not be okay to think outside the box, and always think big. So our mantra has been #GoBig. Thus, we are in the Olivia and Archie Manning Athletic Performance Center, and we have over 800 people, which is the largest seated dinner in the history of our university.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce our coveted MCs, Olivia and Archie Manning. It is most appropriate we are in the building named for them. And actually, I have a little tidbit. Tonight, Hugh Freeze is entertaining recruits, and we had to move him over to the pavilion. Ole Miss Women's Council wins again. When contacting him to play this significant role, I did not take into account that the Broncos were playing in the playoffs. No, I did not think about that at all. But they graciously agreed to chair the event because they knew that this was a significant man who needed to be recognized. I was a woman on a big mission, #GoBig. But despite my poor timing, they continued to enforce that this was the right thing to do, to go big and to honor Robert Khayat in a big way as he has with Ole Miss. And for Olivia, perhaps it was an easy decision because I offered to make all of her Delta Gamma House campaign calls because she's chairing that committee and I serve on that committee. So with further ado, I would like to welcome Olivia and Archie Manning to the stage.
I have to add, being from Nashville, that the Titans would love a general manager named Peyton. Just saying.
No comment.
Thanks, girls. Really enjoyed the film clip. It comes as no surprise our former chancellor was a guard. Y'all saw that little action going on here. Thanks so much. Such a pleasure to be serving as MCs this evening, the 6th annual Ole Miss Women's Council Legacy Award celebration.
This year is made all the more special as we honor our beloved Chancellor Emeritus, Dr. Robert C. Khayat. It's hard to believe it has been 6 years since we began with our first legacy luncheon in the ballroom of the Inn at Ole Miss. In fact, our 2010 inaugural Legacy Award recipient is here with us tonight, Leanne Toohey. Will you stand? In 2012, Our legacy recipient.
Excuse me, dear. I think you skipped a year. 2011 Legacy Award recipient, that would be Olivia Manning.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud to have been a recipient of the Legacy Award, and it has been a joy to serve on the council, as well as mentor and support our amazing scholars. Now, where was I?
2012.
Oh, 2012. Our legacy recipients that year were the Honorable and Mrs. William Winter. We're so sorry that they could not be here tonight, but we recognize their legacy.
In 2014, we celebrated Jim and Donna Barksdale as our Legacy Award recipients. Would Jim and Donna please stand? And then, of course, last year's recipient, Mr. Charles Overby. Charles, please stand. We are so grateful to all of you for all you do to make Ole Miss and Mississippi the very best that it can be.
This past January, the University of Mississippi installed its 17th chancellor, and Jeff and Sharon Vitter were welcomed into the Ole Miss family. We are excited for what the future holds and appreciate your commitment in our leadership, in our leadership of faculty and students.
You know, Chancellor, it's just been a little over 3 months since you started, but not many folks can say on their first day of work they won the Sugar Bowl. We are so happy to have you with us tonight. Please welcome Chancellor Jeffrey Vitter.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Archie. That was a great introduction. Sugar Bowl was a great introduction for me, and it's a real pleasure to be with you all here tonight. I'd also like to recognize my beautiful wife, Sharon. Sharon, would you stand up and just say hi? Sharon is actually the person people always try to get at events, and when she can't make it, I usually substitute for her, like Wednesday at the Kiwanis Art Kids event. I was second string, and I did that for her. It's a privilege to join Archie and Olivia in honoring the past recipients of this Legacy Award, and I really want to thank not only them, but the entire membership of the Ole Miss Women's Council for their tremendous leadership over the years. So let's give them another round of applause. You all truly are just a shining example of servant leadership through your commitment both of time and resources. And thanks for your dedication. Because of that, because of the Ole Miss Women's Council, the council has become a national model for philanthropy across the nation. You know, in the world of higher education, philanthropy plays a crucial role, especially for our institution in the University of Mississippi, the flagship university in Mississippi. To quote a famous and beloved university chancellor, Robert Kayat, "Your gifts provide the margin of excellence for this great university." Philanthropy provides the resources for us to truly transform lives through discovery, learning, and engagement. And everyone here tonight has generously given to this university. You are all philanthropists, and we appreciate all that you do for Ole Miss. Chancellor Kayat, it's an honor to be here to help you celebrate your Legacy Award. And it's especially fitting because it was in your time as Chancellor that the Ole Miss Women's Council came into being. When I think back in my first few months as I've filled the Chancellor's role, which, by the way, you set the standard for, your vision of making the University of Mississippi the great American public university has been a great inspiration to me. And I know it's going to come as no surprise to any of you all here tonight that you've been such a great help and mentor for me, a resource, a friend, and I really appreciate all that you've done in this transition. Your support has been so important for me in my first few months. In fact, the Ole Miss family has welcomed Sharon and me in large part because you have welcomed us to Ole Miss. Thank you. A major decision, a major reason for the decision that I came to Ole Miss is the outstanding academic reputation of this great university. And, well, of course, it's also our common passion and enthusiasm of kicking the butts of LSU and Alabama in football. But really, let's get back to the academic side of things. Through the years, Robert, I have watched the tremendous growth in the stature of Ole Miss under your leadership. I followed with great interest all the various stories in the higher education literature and circles about the sea change that you effected here in Mississippi and the tremendous rise in academic standing of this university. I never would have imagined that this great visionary, this nationally regarded leader in higher education is otherwise known to many of his friends as Ox, and to many others as the Golden Toe. So, Robert, whether you're Ox or Golden Toe or RCK or Robert Conrad Kayat, Chancellor Emeritus, you're a true academic, you're a true All-American in academics, in sports, in leadership, and in life. Congratulations. Thank you for your stellar leadership, your extraordinary vision, and especially your great friendship for Sharon and me. We appreciate it. Now, as Olivia mentioned, the Legacy Award was first presented by the Ole Miss Women's Council in 2010, and as plans were being formed for what would become this remarkable event, one of the very first corporations that got involved, in fact, it's tonight's presenting sponsor, was C Spire. C Spire has served as the Legacy Award presenting sponsor for the last 5 years. Their generosity of spirit has played a really important role in the Council's mission of growing students through leadership, scholarship, and mentorship. So we're so pleased tonight to welcome, representing C Spire, Susie Hayes, who is the Senior Vice President of Consumer Marketing. Susie earned her MBA here at Ole Miss, and her daughter, Sydney, will be entering Ole Miss as a freshman in the fall. So let's welcome Susie to the podium.
Thank you to the Ole Miss Women's Council for giving C Spire the opportunity to participate in recognizing Dr. Kayat in this year's Legacy Awards. The Council's purpose of leadership, mentorship, and philanthropy certainly align with our focus at C Spire. We consider our investment in the young people of our state through scholarship programs and internships as a vital part of giving back. As I'm sure many of you can relate, we are often on the receiving end of those young, sharp, bright minds. In 2012, we changed our name from Cellular South to C Spire. About a couple years later, we had some interns in the Ridgeland office, as we normally do, and they were presenting at the end of the summer what they recommended for us to do. They were bold and suggested two things to us that would change the way that we communicated about our company going forward. When we changed our name to C Spire, we had chosen to position our company around personalized wireless, thinking that that made a lot of sense and what our customers needed from us next. What the interns told us was they didn't need us to personalize their wireless. They had an app for that. They also told us that from the very first meeting they were in our Ridgeland office, what set with them was the story of the Stickman, which is we have a Stickman in all of our conference rooms throughout our corporate office as a reminder to always make our decisions based on what's best for our customers. And since every meeting since the first meeting when they learned about the Stickman, that is what has stuck with them. They told us that what made C Spire special and what made us different was our relentless focus on the customer every day, and that's what we should talk about. Shortly after that, our tagline, Customer Inspired, was born. When we look back at it now, it's hard to believe that the tagline came a couple of years after the name, especially given that the C always stood for customer and the Spire always stood for inspired. Looking back, it's so obvious that we don't often admit it, so I'd appreciate it if you would just keep that our little secret. I'm currently enjoying Dr. Kayak's book, The Education of a Lifetime, and could appreciate it when he spoke about his time as part of the Ole Miss football team. He said, "We genuinely felt that we were the one group that could overcome all the negative perceptions about our state, and we did that by winning football games." So true, for sure. While the methodology is different, it's not unlike how we view our role at C Spire as one of Mississippi's leading companies. We have today, and we've always believed that Mississippians deserve and should be afforded all of the advantages that come with the latest access to technology. In the early days, we purposefully removed all the barriers to smartphone adoption, and as a result, our Mississippi customers led the nation in smartphone adoption. And today, and recently, we have partnered with Mississippi cities to bring 1 gigabit fiber to the home services to communities. Our customers are some of the first in the nation to have access to that technology. We partnered with state entities and private entities to bring telemedicine to rural communities, and we built a world-class data center for our Mississippi businesses and beyond. It's our goal to change our part of the world for the better through technology and through our commitment and investment in our communities and our young people and also education. Dr. Kayak's vision for Ole Miss to be and to be perceived as America's great public university will forever impact not just the university, but all of the young people who have been the recipients of all the great changes he made while he was here. As a parent, as you just heard, as a parent of a incoming freshman next year, Sydney, I'm especially grateful. I know that she is going to be calling, along with all of her classmates, the great America University home soon. Again, C Spire is honored to be presenting the 2016 Ole Miss Women's Council Legacy Award. Thank you.
My name is Ward Toller. I'm the market manager for C Spire here in Oxford. So please join me as I ask for the Lord's blessing on not only our meal tonight, but also the Women's Council and Dr. Kayak. So join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, nights like this are a lot of fun, and we want to thank you for this small piece of your creation that we all call Ole Miss. Bless its leadership, students, and graduates as each work out your hand of providence. And Father, we thank you for the Ole Miss Women's Council, and I ask for your blessing on their efforts to mentor students, provide scholarships for them, and the investment of time and talent they are making in each student. And Lord, we thank you for Dr. Khayat. We thank you for his leadership and the example he set as chancellor, and also as well as his example in the community. Just as you have gifted him with a life full of achievements, we pray your blessing and goodness would continually be on him and his family. And Father, bless our meal and our time together tonight as we enjoy our food and our fellowship at each table. Help us to enjoy and be thankful for your kindness and your grace. In Jesus' name I pray, and all God's children said, amen.
I don't think, oh, here we go. Jan Farrington is not only a founding member and past chair of the Ole Miss Women's Council, but she also served the university as president of the Alumni Association and chair of the University Foundation, as well as being inducted into the Ole Miss Alumni Hall of Fame. But perhaps we are most grateful for her willingness to serve as Legacy Sponsorship Chair, for it is in this capacity that she has been a powerful force in the overwhelming success of tonight's event. To share with you a little bit of the history and mission of the Ole Miss Women's Council, please welcome Jan Farrington.
Once upon a time, there was no Ole Miss Women's Council for Philanthropy. So I'll tell you a story, the story, of how we came from non-existence to this tonight, and in just 15 years. Back in the late 1990s, Chancellor Robert Khayat and Vice Chancellor Gloria Kellum discovered a real problem. Under Robert's leadership, the university had seen a huge increase in gifts and donations. Things were going extremely well. The Renaissance was well underway. However, in analyzing the gifts that were coming in, they both were struck with the fact that 97% of the gifts were from men. Both Robert and Gloria knew that this problem needed a solution. Enter one Ellen Ross, a former head of the Memphis Women's Foundation, who had extensive experience in women's philanthropy and fundraising. She visited with Gloria to tell her of an idea, a vision, if you will, that she had had. Gloria immediately told her to make it into a proposal. Ellen did just that, but before taking it to Gloria, she ran it by our own Patty Lewis, who said, as she raised her eyes over those glasses, and she said, "You go, girl, and I'm coming with you." Gloria embraced the idea, and she and Ellen took it to the chancellor, a visionary himself, as you all know, who was immediately enamored with the idea and saw potential for this cutting-edge experiment. So here was the vision: to create a women's council for philanthropy that would encourage philanthropy among women and develop unprecedented scholarship, leadership, and mentoring programs. The scholarship recipients would be chosen partly on their propensity to become servant leaders. The goal was to have graduates from this university who would leave here with a desire to create a more caring, ethical society. The council members would have the responsibility to provide a nurturing and encouraging environment in which these students could grow and learn and receive all the help they needed to succeed in their chosen fields of study. It was a unique and bold idea. Over some months, Gloria and Ellen introduced the idea to a group of women who also got the vision and embraced it. On February 14th, 2000, 24 women representing very diverse backgrounds, ethnicities, ages, careers, professions, political leanings, and life experiences gathered together to have our first meeting at the Memory House. Many had never met one another. Our ever thoughtful chancellor had a rose at each member's place. And that is how the rose became a metaphor for the council. Just as roses need careful tending and nurturing to mature, so do our students in order to reach their beautiful potential. The only way that I can describe that first meeting is to say that it was electric. And those who were there, I would tell you, no one who was there will ever forget it. We all sensed that there was something magic in the air, and that this was the start of something very, very good. Edith Kelly Green was the perfect choice to serve as our first chair and led so aptly in setting the tone for member involvement, participation, future growth, and hard work. Ellen and Gloria were close by to give guidance and wisdom. This has been a very dedicated group of women, and we have been joined by equally dedicated new members throughout the years. So will all of the present members and the Alliance members who are our retired members, will all of you please stand and let us recognize you. All of our Alliance and current members, please stand. As we developed more programs throughout our 15 years, we realized that others wanted to help us, to join with us, to work with this program, and they were willing to help. So the idea of having an auxiliary group that would help sustain and support our programs became a reality in 2008. We now have 114 members of the Rose Society. These generous people have made such an impact on what we can offer our students. Will all of our Rose Society members please stand and be recognized? All of our Rose Society members. As time went on, we realized that the true blessing for all of our members was to get to know and interact with our bright, intellectual, totally wonderful scholars. They are truly amazing young people, and it is a joy to see them mature and succeed during their years at Ole Miss, and then to follow them into their careers and see what a wonderful impact they're making wherever they go. Will all of our Ole Miss Women's Council scholars, present and before this time, please stand and let us recognize you. All of our previous and present scholars. And then, now, there are our most generous sponsors who have helped us raise money through this exciting event that we have each year. Your support provides the resources for what Chancellor Vitter was talking about, that edge of excellence that we need to make our programs better. No words can ever thank you enough for making this journey with us and for helping us make it successful. Our steadfast presenting sponsor for the 5th year, C Spire, our platinum sponsors, Burson Marsteller, FedEx, the Gertrude C. Ford Foundation, and Dickie and Diane Scruggs. Our gold sponsor, the Honorable John Palmer. Our silver sponsors, Butler Snow, FNC, Cooper Communications, Kimberly Fritz and Marion Turner, and Yates Companies. Our bronze sponsors, Ole Miss Alumni Association, University of Mississippi Foundation, the University of Mississippi Athletic Association, Sanderson's Farm, Mary Susan and J.D. Clinton, Karen and Bruce Moore, and my own wonderful husband and best friend, Lawrence Farrington. Will all of you please stand and let us recognize you. And I also want you to give a round of applause to our patrons and friends who sponsored tables and who are listed in your program. We just cannot thank you enough as well. Let's give them a hand. As I stand here and look over this crowd, I just want to say all of you are a part of the Women's Council and the work that we do. By supporting us, you become a part of us. You're helping us reach the goals that were only dreams 15 years ago. So thank you, thank you, thank you from a very, very grateful group of women. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Donnelly Haskell. I am the incoming chair of the Ole Miss Women's Council, and I am so happy to welcome you to the 2016 Legacy Awards. By being here tonight and celebrating Chancellor Robert Khayat with us, you're helping support our scholars, support our programs, the mentorship, the leadership that we provide these students. They are remarkable young men and women that we are so terribly proud of, and I'm very happy that some of them have a little bit to share with you. So please meet the scholars of the Ole Miss Women's Council.
So my grandmother, when I was young, was the mayor of Oxford, Mississippi. So I grew up in City Hall under her desk, really, and I got the Women's Council scholarship, and that really sealed the deal for me, and I just knew that this was meant to be and that I needed to come to Ole Miss, and this was going to be my home again for the next 4 years.
But when you come from a family where everyone in your family went to an HBCU and did extremely well, it's hard for you to reconcile that youngest person in the family now deciding to go to a predominantly white institution, not only a predominantly white institution, University of Mississippi, and having those conversations with people who should be nothing but proud that you're going to college. There's this underlying undertone of, well, why there, you know? I think that more than anything, Ole Miss Women's Council helped me to answer that question, why there?
I wouldn't have been able to attend the University of Mississippi had it not been for that scholarship. It helped me tremendously. I'm going to graduate this May without any student loans, any debt.
The Women's Council was the only one that took specific time to talk about mentorship and philanthropy and leadership and mentoring. So that's something that kind of stood out with the Women's Council, was that they're interested in more than just helping me pay for school, but helping me as a person.
With the Women's Council Scholarship, they provide you with mentors, and these women are like amazing.
A bunch of the Women's Council scholars are also in the Honors College, so that was a huge connection when planning classes. You know, they knew which professors to take, and then the Women's Council also hooked me up with a pharmacy professor as a mentor, and so that's a huge advantage as well.
My fellow Women's Council scholars were the first friends I made here, and they're always there for support if you need anything. They really make you feel at home and really feel like, you know, there's someone there that cares about you and is watching over you, you know. It's, I mean, not as much like a parent, but somebody that's just behind your back, you know, pushing you along the way and not letting you sort of fall off the path.
Thank you, Tim Weeks, for that wonderful piece and helping us share with you a little bit of the voice of our scholars. As the video shared, I'm Mary Haskell. I am the incoming chair of the Ole Miss Women's Council, and I'm so honored to be stepping into some mighty big shoes of Karen Moore. spent the last year serving. Yeah. When Karen asked me a year ago if I would step on and sign on as the vice chair, what she shared with me is that we'll have an amazing year working side by side. And as she turned her notebook in very kind of ceremoniously last week, I said, you may give up your notebook, but you're not going anywhere. So we are attached at the hip, and I still hope and pray that she's right there beside me and certainly no more than a phone call away. All of the women that have served in leadership of the Ole Miss Women's Council have planted very fruitful seeds. And again, I am so honored and excited to follow them and see what the next chapter holds for the Ole Miss Women's Council. It is quite a remarkable effort that, as Jan shared, was made 16 years ago by some inspiring and motivated and strong women. And we see the fruits of the labor so richly in our scholars. As I have to go back also because at the very beginning of the night, there was a cold opening and a video piece on the screens. And I have to thank Andy Harper at the Documentaries Department for helping us find that footage. Robert, I'm not saying that you've been around a long time, but when we were trying to find the footage of your investiture, Andy called me back and he said, good news, I found something. I said, that's great. And he goes, it was in the video morgue. Yeah, there's actually a place on this campus called the video morgue. Chancellor, I think maybe we could put some columns and, you know, put some of the red brick around it and it'll look fabulous. But somewhere on this campus there is a place that all the filmmakers, I'm sure Mike again knows what I'm talking about, is called the Video Morgue. But we were so happy to find that and take a little peek back 20 years ago because it was awful special to see a baby Sue Kaiser and a baby Andy Mullins, and it really was remarkable. And you know, as we moved forward planning this evening, and there's so many different ways to honor and reflect upon your legacy. Another way that one of the conversations kind of evolved, Robert, was that a lot of us were talking about all of our special buildings, our favorite places. Well, you know, my favorite thing Robert did. Well, my favorite thing Robert did. So with the help of Gloria Kellum and everyone over at the foundation office, and of course Sue Kaiser, knower of all things Robert Khayat, we were able to put together a list, or certainly they presented us with a list of 100 different items. And I proceeded then to go to the amazing, it's called the University Digital Archives. And if you've never gone on that website, I encourage you, go on it. It's fascinating. And I proceeded to root out and find digital images. Now, about halfway through the process, Andy Harper called me and said, Mary, it's only a 3-minute song you've got planned, so I maxed out at 86 images. I'm sorry we didn't catch everything, but if you will, watch your screens as I share a little music with you. I have to give a background of this song real quickly. Do you remember the Momentum campaign? Sam and I served as part of that group and the campaign leadership. And Robert, there was a song that you called me with one day and said, we've got a song that's been written called For the Love of Ole Miss, and I want you to sing it. And so I proceeded to sing it at a couple of different Momentum events. And it was really quite remarkable because as we started putting these pieces together, and you know, this means brick and mortar, like the gorgeous Gertrude Ford Center for the Performing Arts, the Inn at Ole Miss, this building that we gather in tonight. It also represents, Robert, honors like the Phi Beta Kappa and the Barksdale Honors College and the Lot Leadership Institute, and oh my goodness, I mean, again, the list was endless. And then the other thing that rang a bell and we found images of are some of the, what I would call kind of bellwether events that you were able to be a part of and bring this university to national recognition. The presidential debate, where then Senator McCain and Obama came and had their first presidential debate on this campus and brought us to national recognition, as well the dedication ceremony of the James Meredith Open Doors Monument. You know, just really powerful moments that were, again, a part of your legacy. So if you will allow me, when we thought about what song would be appropriate, nothing more rang a bell than For the Love of Ole Miss. So for everything you did, Robert, for the love of Ole Miss, watch your screens, and I think you'll see a few things you recognize.
In the rolling hills of Oxford, there's a feeling in the air. It's a quiet revelation that you'll always belong right there. It's all the kindred spirits who walk along this way, like the 100-year-old oak tree, still growing every day. We're walking along that sunlit grove. We do more than reminisce. Our hearts beat strong as ever for the love of Ole Miss.
It's all yours, Robert.
From a war-divided nation to the university grace, to that modern inspiration of compassion in these days. With heritage and history, the good things will remain. Although we've been through changes, our loyalty's the same. Walking across that sunlit grove, you do more than reminisce. Your heart beats as strong as ever for the love of Ole Miss. The faithful gather in the grove every game day in the fall to celebrate the spirit running deep within us all. As we travel through the arch where it all begins, the Ole Miss Walk of Champions is a road that never ends. Walking across that sunlit grove, I do more than reminisce. My heart beats as strong as ever for the love of Ole Miss. For the love of Ole Miss, all you did, Robert, for the love of your dear Ole Miss.
Hotty toddy, my dear. That's pretty incredible. Thank you very much. And I wish it covered everything, Robert, but that's you. Welcome back, Archie.
I was pushing for a duet there, but Mary didn't want me. What a privilege for me to introduce our next speaker, another founding member of the Ole Miss Women's Council, former president of the Ole Miss Alumni Association, current chair, University of Mississippi Foundation Board of Directors. She serves as the manager of social responsibility for FedEx, another longtime and deeply valued supporter of the Ole Miss Women's Council and our scholars. Her awards and honors are too numerous to mention, but suffice to say, she continues to make a profound difference in her community, her Ole Miss family, and everyone who is fortunate enough to cross her path. And I want everyone to be quiet. She's very timid and somewhat soft-spoken. Please welcome Rose Jackson Fornoro.
I believe they're going to show the video first. Is that right, Christine? Response? After. Okay, that's fine. Well, good evening. Michael Jordan was cut from the basketball team in the 9th grade for not being good enough. He wanted to attend UCLA or Virginia, but they did not recruit him. Michael Jordan said, I wanted to go to Virginia because I wanted to play with Ralph Sampson for the last 2 years. I wrote a letter to Virginia, but they just sent me back an admission form. During the draft, Houston and Portland passed on him, and the Bulls only drafted him because they couldn't get a big man. Failure is defined as the lack of success. Would you consider Michael Jordan a failure? I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I've been entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Michael Jordan. I read an article written by Charlie Mitchell in the Dispatch that listed the following facts about Robert Cuyat. He missed a big, no-excuse field goal that would have won a big game. I'm just saying. On a serious note, he struggled with a recurring and painful pancreatitis, so severe at its onset that it almost killed him. He was rejected by coworkers of almost 2 decades for a role as their new leader. He was depicted as a black hooded executioner when a state senator decided to stage a protest over the loss of traditions at our university. In John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward, he says, it seems that some people are born to achieve anything they want. Some would say they're just lucky or blessed, or they have a Midas touch. But what is the real reason for their success? According to Maxwell, the difference between an average people and the people who achieve is their response to struggle and failure, their response to pain and struggle. He says, nothing else has the same kind of impact on people's ability to achieve than their ability to overcome failures and struggle. Here's one of my favorite quotes. It doesn't matter how much milk you spill as long as you don't lose your cow. Doesn't matter how much milk you spill as long as you don't lose the cow. I've known Robert Cuyat since I was a student at Ole Miss. And so this has been very difficult for me to figure out exactly what I wanted to say, just because of the nature of our personal relationship and how long I've known him. But I have often had to ask myself the question, why would a person choose, elect, or decide to tackle some of the issues he did as a chancellor when he was beloved and could have coasted? He could have just taken the job and gone to the next level and left things alone. And I had to think about what is inside a person who would choose to do that. And so here's what I came up with. That they have such a strong vision and they can see the promise of the institution. Definition of vision: the active power of sensing with eyes, sight, the power of anticipating that which will or may come to be. More than 4,000 people gathered in the Tad Smith Coliseum for the inauguration of Robert Cuyat. I quote from his speech, "An organization committed to excellence must focus and have a sense of direction. In our quest for recognition as a great public university, we will strengthen our library, reward our productive faculty and staff, attract the best and the brightest students, increase support for our teaching and research activities, transform an honors program into an honors college. And there's more. He kept promising. He promised a Phi Beta Kappa chapter. I love what he said in his book. After all of those commitments and telling the audience this would be a great public university, he said he sat down, and I read from his book. I closed my notebook and walked back to my seat. I looked over to Gloria Kellum. She raised her eyebrows, leaned over, and whispered in my ear, "Are you out of your damn mind?" I can't believe my sweet Gloria Kellum actually said that, but it's in the book. Vision. Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world. The other thing I thought, he knew what we could be before we knew what we could be. But then I said, to be willing to accept the kind of issues he did, he had to love this place a whole lot. And the other thing of seeing a vision for what you want, have you ever loved somebody so much? Hey, women, have you ever loved a man so much he did you wrong and you still kept going back for more? It's the love that will allow you to keep trying. The definition of love is a variety of different feelings, states, and attitudes that ranges from interpersonal affection to pleasure. It can refer to an emotion of a strong attraction and personal attachment. So I had someone call and ask Robert Kaya Jr. this question. Was there ever a time, especially during the controversies, that the family felt he should take a step back, that the pressure on him might be too much? And here's what Robert said: no. He said even before he was chancellor, he was so committed to the university as a law professor and then in the administration. It was hard for me to ever distinguish his existence separate from Ole Miss. I guess I view the job I would love to have as one where I would love to do it even if I was on vacation. I would love to do it even if I was not paid. That's how my dad felt about Ole Miss. All the things that he was doing, a lot of them he couldn't have done if he hadn't been chancellor, but they were things he would have wanted to do anyway. So we knew that it was 24/7 for him, and probably would have been regardless of whether he had the job or not. He likes to help people. He likes to promote the university, and that's just how it is. Love. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. The other thing I thought is that he had to have courage. To tackle the issues, to continue. Definition of courage: the quality of mind or spirit that enables a person to face difficulty, danger, pain without bravery. I read an excerpt from Mississippi Christian Living, written by Marilyn Tennant. Being a successful leader takes courage, the kind Robert prayed for every single day, and only the kind that God can provide. The temptation is to take your eyes off the goal because the crowd is so loud. Football is a good training ground for Robert Kaya's true calling. His dad taught him to keep his eye on the ball and to follow through. The university is a better place today because of his unwavering determination to leave that beautiful place better than he found it. Courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to do what is right in the presence of fear. I know from being around him that he had the love of so many families and friends. Definition of friend: a person whom one knows and whom one has a bond of mutual affection. Family: a basic social unit consisting of parents and their children, considered a group. Now, I'm a little questioning this one in the book, because he said his friends were Eddie Crawford and Lee Pasley, who adopted him as freshmen. But he also said that they kept him up all night reading to him when he was a freshman kind of football player and even shaved his head. But is that the definition of friend? Okay. Now this may be a little bit better, because he said Warner Alford, Bo Ball, and Jimmy Hall found Margaret for him. It was interesting, he said they looked across all the freshman women and picked her. Is that what the role of a friend is? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And then he was a father, so I asked Margaret, what was it like growing up with Robert Kyatt as a father? Her first response, it was delightful. He was so very charismatic, but because he was my father, I just took it as a given. It didn't occur to me that that was unusual. We spent lots of time together, and he always treated me with so much respect, even as a small child. We had wonderful conversations. He would have me go with him to do different things, and we would run errands together to the hardware store. I just came along, and we always had wonderful chats. From his son, Robert Kyatt Jr., he was a great dad. It was really cool having a dad who was once a professional football player and a good baseball player. And so a lot of our interactions when I was a child involved throwing a baseball. We spent a lot of time on the baseball field. He even coached my Little League team. That was always a good connection for us. As we got older, we spent time together on the golf course. We played golf together as I went through college and law school. So many of you know my daughter, Lily. She's a graduate of Hutchinson School. And when she was a senior, Hutchinson was turning 100 years old, and everybody had to do a project about the history of Hutchinson. And she discovered that Margaret Kyatt was a Hutchinson graduate and also Mayday Queen. So she said, Mom, for my history project, I'm gonna write about Margaret Kyatt and interview her. I called Robert, and she agreed to talk to Lily. I dropped her off at the chancellor's home, and right when I was getting ready to hear the great interview questions, Lily said, I want you to go. And I said, I want to hear. She goes, but I don't want you to because you'll make me nervous. So I had to wait, and time passed, another hour passed, and I finally picked Lily up, and driving back to Memphis, I said, well, how did it go? And she said, as children say, fine. I said, well, tell me a little bit more. And she said, do you know, we talked about what it was like to be at Hutchinson when she was there and what it's like today, what the role of women are, and what our expectations are. And she said she talked a lot about Robert. She said, Ms. Heffley said that women like her shouldn't date men like that. And I said, Ms. Heffley, like I want us at the Heffley Hall I'm living in. And then she said that there couldn't be two Robert Kyatts in the house, that she had to be Margaret and he had to be Robert. And what she loved was she allowed him to be Robert and he allowed her to be Margaret. Now, many of you know that Lily was a little hesitant about coming to Ole Miss because she said to me, if I go to Ole Miss and I get in trouble, I have any problems, they're gonna say that I'm Rose's daughter. Well, on the way back, she said, hey, Mom, I've decided to go to Ole Miss. And I said, well, change your mind. I said, I know you got a letter from Jan, a 4-page letter from David Brevard. What changed your mind? And she said, talking to Mrs. Kyatt. She also said that if I came to Ole Miss, anytime I wanted to stop by, I could, and she would feed me each time. And she said, Mama, she's a good cook. You know, in the old days, you used to say, when you got married, that you married up. Robert, you married up. A family that loves you, a family that supports you, and a family that allows you to be you. Family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, the ones who would do anything to see you smile, and who love you no matter what. And the other thing that I know was the reason he stepped out and the reason he made the choices he did was his faith in God. I've had a couple of opportunities to introduce Robert, and I said, I know in my heart that Robert was called to be Chancellor of Ole Miss by God. The definition of faith is the confidence or trust in a person or thing, belief that is not based on truth. I asked my father once when I just thought things were so tumultuous on campus about decisions and why, when people are doing the right thing, do they have to have the consequences? And my dad's response to me was, all rewards are not given on earth, Rose. Some you have to wait to heaven to get. All rewards are not given on earth. Some you have to wait to heaven to get. I quote from his book, At the Dedication of the Law School, The Education of a Lifetime, I knew that I could never understand the mystery of my relationship with God or his hand in guiding me. But I remember the extraordinary people with whom I've crossed paths. My belief in a master plan was affirmed. I felt without doubt that my success and failures, my wins and my losses, my loves, my heartaches, my adulation, my humiliation, my good health, my bad health led me to this place. I am a person of faith, and even when I strayed or behaved in ways that I regret, I never doubted God's quiet, careful presence along the way. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. I started with the definition of failure. Here's the definition of success: the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Established the Phi Beta Kappa chapter. Endowment triples to roughly 500 million then. Sponsored research at 128 million, a gain of 141%. Student body in Oxford up more than 14,000. Doubling of African American students to more than 2,000. Total enrollment to 17,600. Honors College established with a $5.4 million gift from Jim Barksdale. 2008 presidential debate. Croft Institutes, Rhodes Scholars, Goldwater Scholar, Lott Leadership Institute, top 40 most wired colleges and universities, entering ACT score up. Beautiful campus, growing active alumni base, enhanced student support services, increased support for faculty and staff, growing athletic programs, William Winter Institute for Racial Reconciliation, the Ole Miss Women's Council, and that's just to name a few. Almost every successful person begins with two beliefs: the future can be better than the present, and I have the power to make it so. I called two of Robert's former students when he was chancellor. One, Nicole Stouffer, who was an ASB president when he entered as chancellor and served on the search committee to select him. I asked her, what would Robert Khayat's legacy be? And here's what she said. To me, Chancellor Khayat is exactly what you want Ole Miss to represent, and that he is a gentleman in all respects. He has the graciousness of the Old South and everything that it stands for, but at the same time, he's an extreme contemporary in the right way, since he understands the ongoing issues with society and politics and obviously academics. That is his legacy. He is a traditionalist, a gentleman with traditional Southern ways that I value, as well as a contemporary ways that excel and move Ole Miss. And he did move Ole Miss many, many, many years beyond his current state just by being there and doing what he did in the way that he did. He will be remembered long after we're gone as a person who really worked in a magical time, and he would be the first to say it was a team effort, and it was what he would want us to say, that he did it with a great team. This weekend there's going to be a lot of hoopla, and everybody's going to want to take pictures with him, and he'll do it. But anybody that truly knows Robert Khayat would know that at the end of the day, he would much rather be sitting around with 6 close friends and strumming a guitar and telling stories. He's kind of shy and quiet person, reserved on many levels. But he does things on a bigger scale. That was sort of called to do, and it's lucky for all of us he accepted the call. And then I called Markiva Morgan, a 2001 electrical engineering graduate, and I asked him what year did he graduate. He said, you know, Rose, nobody ever graduates from Ole Miss. But then instead of answering my question, he sent me this story. It's a story about a gentleman who had a pond on his land with fish in it, and he decided he wanted to add rainbow trout to the fish that were already in his pond. And here's what Markiva sent. He had to understand what would be required to add rainbow trout to a pond on the property he bought. After describing the pond to a specialist store owner, The store owner told him about all the changes he needed to make to the pond to add the rainbow trout. He bought all the necessary equipment and rushed home to make all the modifications. But it rained, so he didn't get everything done. He thought he'd return the next day, but he went ahead and added the rainbow trout. But then the next day came, and then the next week came, and then the next month came, and he forgot that he added the trout without the modifications. When he remembered, he went to the pond, and to his dismay, he found those trout floating atop the pond because he failed to adjust the environment to enable their survival. And then he sent me this note. Dr. Kyatt and I had monthly lunches when I was an undergrad. Ole Miss was having great success in recruiting many types of fish. And he says, Rose, the analogy to fish was many kinds of students to our Ole Miss pond. He says, one of the central themes of those lunch discussion was how do we improve the Ole Miss pond to make sure that all types of fish flourish while there. He listened to me, he listened to others. He worked to create an environment that valued all. To me, Robert Kyatt's legacy would be a pond where all kinds of fish flourish and are loved. Don't give up when you fail. Don't give up when you struggle. I will say, if you have students or young people in your life, let them know that struggle comes, but success comes too. Imagine what legacies would have never existed if someone like Robert Kyatt had given up. Those who succeed are those who do not give up. They keep on going and build a successful life and a successful legacy. So how on earth do we say thank you to a man who's not only changed lives, but transformed this world we call Ole Miss? How do we say thank you to a leader who's walked through the valley of the shadow of death so that our future generations could walk in peace? How do we say kindness and say thank you to a guardian who knew how to balance power with kindness? How do we say thank you to a champion chancellor whose life as a servant leader is one of the best textbooks we've ever studied? Against the glow of his greatness, words seem so inadequate. So I guess the best way to thank Chancellor Kyatt is by making sure that we live a life of purpose, that we love Ole Miss through good and bad times, that we give back to our university, we support our faculty and staff, we support our students. I'd like for everyone who served on the faculty and staff of Ole Miss while Robert Kyatt was chancellor to please stand. Making our lives a life of purpose is the way to thank him, because after all, that is the essence of Robert Kyatt's legacy. Thank you.
I'm so glad Jan recognized earlier our Rose Society members who are here with us tonight. Last night at the Lyric, we held our second Songwriters Night featuring Rivers Rutherford, Tim James, and Kelly Lovelace. And by all accounts, the Songwriters Soiree was a huge hit. This event is one of the many ways during the year we say thank you to the over 100 members of the Rose Society, whose annual contribution of $1,000 goes directly to support special programming for our scholars. On March 1st, Archie and I hosted an event at our home in New Orleans, and we were so excited to see a few new members from our neck of the woods join the Rose Society. We have members from all over the country with one shared bond, our love of Ole Miss and desire to support and enrich the experience of our students. If you're interested in joining the Rose Society, there are cards on your tables with more information. Now, if you missed last night's concert or just didn't get enough of the wickedly talented Rivers Rutherford, we have a treat for you. Ladies and gentlemen, with a special surprise for our honoree tonight, please welcome Rivers Rutherford.
Thank you very much. We had a good time last night. How many of y'all were there? I know you were there. You don't have to raise your hand, Dr. Kayat. I saw you there myself. We had a good time. I wish that I could tell you that I wrote this song. I'm a songwriter in Nashville and graduate of Ole Miss in 1989. I wish I could tell you this was one of my songs. It's not. I didn't write it, but this was written by a good friend of mine and Dr. Kayat's, Marty Stewart, specifically for Dr. Kayat. So I'm going to do my best with my apologies to Marty. He's a singer that should be singing his own song. I'm a songwriter that is singing a song he didn't write, but nonetheless, I'm going to see what I can do here. Because of you, the world is not the same. It's a better place, my friend, and I'm so glad you came. The magnolias whisper among themselves when they see you passing by. Heard a southbound train call your name, it almost made me cry. Like a William Faulkner novel, you're a fascinating read. While Dixie is slowly turning, you're still gaining speed. And there's 100 roads left to travel and 1,000,000 dreams to dream. Just like the old Tom Bigby, you're a Southern royal king. As tomorrow holds a treasure, a duty yesterday will bid, while today's another diamond that serves to light the pathway, as life keeps moving that way for the Moss Point kid. Hotty-toddy, gosh almighty, who in the world are you? They'll build a statue of you before your days are through, a symbol of your greatness, where pigeons will stop to rest. That was Marty's line, not mine, I remind you. Some kid will ask who was he, and they'll say he was the best. There's 100 roads left to travel and 1,000,000 dreams to dream. Just like the old Tom Bigby, you're a royal Southern king. As tomorrow holds a treasure, a duty yesterday will bid, while life keeps moving that way for the Moss Point kid. You've touched more people's lives than you'll ever know. I know you'll always reap the seeds of kindness that you sow, 'cause you sowed them all in goodness with a touch of love. May they grow beneath the showers of blessings from above. 'Cause there's 1,000,000 roads to travel and 1,000,000 roads to dream. Just like the old Tom Bigby, you're a Southern royal king. As tomorrow holds a treasure, a duty yesterday will bid, while today's another diamond that serves to light the pathway, as life keeps moving that way for the Moss Point kid. And life keeps moving that way for the Moss Point kid.
Thanks so much, Rivers. I'll get to follow the great music nobody's asked me to sing yet. We'll all be marking our calendar, though, for Thursday, October 28th. If I'm not mistaken, that'll be before Texas A&M. And that'll be the next Rose Society Songwriters Soiree. Now, please welcome back to the stage Karen Moore and Mary Susan Clinton.
At this time, we would like to recognize the columns members. These are 28 outstanding students who host events at the university. At this time, I would like for you to stand and remain standing. If you have ever attended an event at the University of Mississippi, you have seen these distinguished young students with their navy blazers and their crest pins, and they usher you to your seats. They do whatever is necessary in this campus to make our visitors feel at home. Thank you to the Columns Society. Next, we would like to welcome the Student Hospitality Management team to stand. Do we have any student hospitality? These students are at our university seeking a Bachelor of Science degree in Hospitality Management, a department developed no less than by Robert Kayak. We thank Shatima Randolph for all her assistance in the Office of University and Public Events. Shatima, are you in the room? Thank you, Christine Wallace. Everything you see in this room, all the layers of detail, Christine is responsible for. Without her direction, none of this would have come to fruition. Christine, if you're in the room, please just wave your hand.
Off County Road 321, there's a beautiful cabin nestled in the woods called The Ravine. It is a special dining experience, and Chef Joel Miller is the proprietor. He has closed his restaurant today so we could enjoy his culinary cuisine tonight. I'm proud to announce Chef Joel Miller. If he's in the room, would you please raise your hand? Also, our Ole Miss Women's Council staff that runs our programs, mentor our students, and keeps us on track, time, and budget. Bonnie Brown, Suzanne Helveston, Hope Tuchinski, and certainly, last but not least, Nora Capwell. Would you please, ladies, stand? The tribute you're about to see was produced from a very good friend of mine, Tim Weeks. He has worked tirelessly to ensure this piece captures the full essence of who our honoree truly is. Tim, will you please stand? And now please watch the screens for this special tribute.
There's 100 roads left to travel and 1,000,000 dreams to dream. Just like the old Tom Bigby, you're a royal Southern king. As tomorrow holds a treasure, adieu to yesterday will bid, while today's another diamond that serves to light the pathway as life keeps moving that way for the Moss Point kid.
The 15th Chancellor of the University of Mississippi, Robert Khayat is one of the great leaders in Ole Miss history. His legacy is not based on his greatness, however. Robert Khayat made us great by tapping into the potential of every person who shared his vision of Ole Miss being a great public university.
Robert was kind of considered the university person.
When I heard his story and saw his charisma in action and saw and heard the way that he changed the history and the future of Ole Miss, I was really starstruck.
Well, Robert, among all the things that he's great at, is the best fundraiser I know, because first he raises friends and then he raises money.
The very first time I ever saw him, he was running in the grove, around the grove, and he was picking up trash. And I thought, wow, that's really nice. Somebody's cleaning up the grove. And then I found out he was the chancellor.
I've known him from a student till today, and he's written letters of encouragement, proud of you, and I have scrapbooks full and boxes full of notes that he sent me. And there's nothing better than to feel valued and appreciated, and that's the kind of person he is.
Robert Khayat has given most of his life to Ole Miss. As a student, he was Colonel Rebel. He was a star athlete. As an adult, he served as a law professor and university administrator, all preparing him for becoming chancellor in 1995.
First question, what is your vision for Ole Miss? And these words came to me, I think providentially, but they became really the standard and our marching orders. And I said to Ms. Baker, to be perceived as one of America's great public universities. It got real quiet in the room because they all wanted to laugh at me.
It was like the stars had aligned or something, because the right man was in the right place at the right time.
It was a golden time from the point of view that there was a lot of hope. There was a lot of hope because we'd had this great plan, okay, and people bought in. I mean, it was a strategic plan done ground up. And so all of a sudden we had a great plan. We had somebody that was as clever as anybody I've ever met at working with people and understanding how to go from point A to point B. And Robert's leadership put it where it ought to be.
In addition to planning and vision, Robert Khayat's greatness as chancellor was defined by his character, his core values, as a family man, as a man of deep faith in God, and lessons learned as a child in Moss Point, reinforced by truths taught at Yale University.
He was raised right. He's done it with such principles.
That's the first thing I learned at Yale, is develop a value system. So I did, and my first item was respect. My mother had taught us as children that respect was really important and to treat everybody with respect. And then the second thing they told us at Yale is they were going to teach us to be decision specialists.
Robert's commitment to the University of Mississippi was contagious. It really was. You couldn't be in a room or in a meeting or whatever without beginning to really go, wow, what's this Ole Miss I hear about?
Robert Khayat's leadership was tested in 1997 when the traditions of Ole Miss came into conflict with his core value of respect for all people.
Tradition is a mighty thing. You can either be chained by it and bound and imprisoned by tradition, or you can be inspired by it, learn from it, and move the story forward.
I personally received, I think it was 14 letters, death threat letters, that our police felt needed to be looked into by the FBI. Now, there were times during that 8 or 9 month period when I'd call Harold Burson in New York and I'd say, Harold, I'd say, the heck with this, Harold. If they want that darn flag this bad, just let them have it.
Robert took on so many issues, some of which he didn't have to take on, many of which, had they failed, perhaps he would have failed as well. This perhaps was one of those for which it was destined for him to take on because it was time.
I go back to the first value, and that is respect. When I learned that our use of that flag was making people feel bad, making black people feel as if we were continuing to suggest that for some reason they were different or inferior, that's a violation of respect. And so I think that respect for the population who felt negatively about the flag was one of the big drivers. The biggest driver, of course, was selfish. I wanted to get that burden off of our backs.
I've found over the years that leaders are only as good as their ability to tackle unpopular things and be willing to give up their political capital. Nobody at Ole Miss has ever had more popular and political capital than Robert Khayat, because he was a football star and he was so well known. And Robert was willing to use that capital to do unpopular things or bold things or to convince people to come along with him.
I remember as we were walking across campus one day talking about some difficult situations that we were facing. He turned to me and he said, "Brother Stocks, in order to have progress, you typically have to have change. And you need to learn how to manage the expectations of people who are not quite as comfortable with change." And he was a champion at that.
We selected Robert for this award because he has brought so many changes to our campus, changes that have put us on the forefront, changes that have set us apart from other universities. And because of this, we are very proud to give him the Ole Miss Women's Council 2016 Legacy Award.
He changed the direction and the trajectory of this university on a national landscape.
If you look at his total legacy, the Barksdale Honors College, the Croft Institute for International Studies, the Lott Leadership Institute, the William Winter Institute for Racial Reconciliation, growth in our athletic programs, I think triple fundraising, Phi Beta Kappa, Rhodes Scholars, a beautiful campus that maintained the architecture of our university.
What I am so proud of is that the Ole Miss Women's Council is a part of his legacy, a shining, growing, thriving branch of what is the Ole Miss Robert Khayat Grove Oak.
I think Robert Khayat will have multiple legacies. He already does. He's an All-American in sports, but he's an All-American person. He's through and through the real deal.
He found the spirit of this school, and he brought it forth, and he made it to where it was accessible again. He was a man of the people, and again, they don't make Robert Khayats every day.
I was on campus recently for a football game, and he put his arms around me, and he looked at me and he said, "This is a wonderful place." And I said, "Yes, sir, it is." And when he left, in my mind, I said, "And you're a wonderful person." And I think anybody who has the courage and the conviction, and I will say the call to be a great leader, I am just so excited that tonight our alumni and friends and people who love our university are here to honor him. And for one time, maybe I can write him a note and say, "We appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you."
I can remember when he first came in, and one of his first ideas was the fact that he wanted us to think about ourselves differently. Think about ourselves differently. He wanted us to see ourselves differently, see what we could possibly be, not exactly what we were. I didn't quite understand that at the time, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but as time went on, it began to make a lot of sense. He didn't see a second-tier university. He saw a great public university. Great public university. Not only did I think about that, but many of my colleagues began to think about that and began to think, well, what's keeping us from being greater than we are? How can we be greater than what we are? Robert would walk around, pick up paper off of the ground, a chancellor picking up paper. Today, I walk around, see a piece of paper. That darn Robert Kayett, I say when I pick it up. He elevated my thinking. He elevated the university's thinking. That's going to be his legacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present the 2016 Legacy Award to my friend and our Chancellor Emeritus, Robert Conrad Kayett. I'm going to say
Should I do like Nixon?
Yeah. The Legacy Award is a replica of the Jane DeDecker Mentor statue in the Ole Miss Women's Council Rose Garden. The statue and garden was donated by the Barksdale family to the Ole Miss Women's Council during Robert's tenure. We are delighted to give you this reminder of what you did for us 16 years ago. There are many more titles to this giant figure we're honoring. He received his undergraduate degree from Ole Miss, then went to be on a Pro Bowl winning place kicker with the Washington Redskins, received a graduate degree from Yale University, and received his law degree from the School of Law that now bears his name. He changed the landscape of our university literally and figuratively. He made Ole Miss a great American public university. Our 2016 Legacy Award recipient, Robert Kayett.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How does I know to be brief, okay? Brevity is a virtue, and I know about it. In fact, Jan Farrington, I was talking to the Women's Council one day, and Jan gave me this. She just kind of looked up like this. I said, I've really enjoyed being with you all. I think I'll leave right now. That is not any way that Margaret and my children and grandchildren and I could say thank you for what you've done tonight, by you being here, by the Women's Council doing what they did to make this a wonderful success, and I hope to increase your $11 million endowment to more, I hope. And I hope you'll just take thank you. I mean, you can't respond. I can't respond to that. Larry Womble, who was in that film, who was the right man at the right place at the right time, when he made talks to groups like this, he would say, they told you everything about me except that I was president of my 8th grade class. Everybody laughed. He said twice. And everybody really laughed when he said that. And, you know, there was a lot of stuff in there about me. I don't like that word one bit. I like us and we. I really do. And so you all are Ole Miss. That's the way I look at it. And all of us are Ole Miss. And I had the great privilege of serving as chancellor. And during that time, I had the great privilege of saying, let's have this women's council. The reason I said that goes back to Moss Point. When I was in first grade, I met a young girl named Cassie Maxine Boyette, and she made the highest grades in the first grade, second grade, third grade, all the way through the 12th grade. I knew women could do it. I mean, there wasn't any doubt. Cassie taught me that when I was in the first grade. I never forgot it. And someone's mentioned about teams, and I really do believe that Ole Miss is a remarkable team. And in this talk that I wrote for you all, which I'm not going to give, we talked about the essence of Ole Miss and all this change that took place and all it's going to take under his leadership, Chancellor Vitta's leadership. It's going to be wonderful to watch because some of the fundamental problems have been dealt with and there are plenty more out there to be dealt with in the future. And we have a really capable person to lead us and a wonderful First Lady to help him lead us. And it's going to be a great era for Ole Miss. I just really do believe that. So I think the best way for me to handle this and get out of here is to tell you what I wanted to say last. And that was thanks to everybody, thanks to the Women's Council, thanks to the people who put on this beautiful event tonight. Do you ever think we could serve 800 people at Ole Miss and do it on time? I never did think that, but we could if we thought more about ourselves. And so we really thank you all for coming. And so through the years, I've tried to, since I'm not a poet nor a songwriter, I kept looking for something that really captured how I feel about Ole Miss that we could all understand. And John Denver had a song once called This Old Guitar. And here's what I modified it a little bit. I changed it to Ole Miss because this is how I feel. Our Ole Miss taught me to sing a love song. It showed me how to laugh and how to cry. Introduced me to some friends of mine and brightened up some days. It helped me make it through some lonely nights. What a friend to have on a cold and lonely night. Our Ole Miss gave me my lovely lady. It opened up her eyes and ears to me, brought us close together, and gave us a family and a life. It opened up the space for us to be. What a lovely place and lovely space for me. Our Ole Miss gave me my life, my living, all the things you know I love to do, to serenade the stars that shine from a sunny mountainside, and most of all, to sing my song for you. And dear Ole Miss, I love to sing our song for you. My family thanks you, joins me in thanking you. May God bless Ole Miss, America, and all of you, and the Women's Council. Thank you. Good night. Okay, thank you.
No.
Well,
RCK,
yep.
you cannot leave the stage. Do we want to keep his momentum going on this university? I think we do. So, with that said,
no.
On Monday, we have a very special birthday to be honored, and it's the birthday of Robert.
It is.
And so today, he is having a birthday party with 800 of his closest friends. So you're saying, I didn't bring a present. Look on your tables. There's a card in an envelope where you can sign up to give a pledge to the Ole Miss Women's Council Endowment in honor of Robert Conrad Kyatt that will continue the programming of our programs in his name for this university. We hope you'll consider giving him a birthday present this evening and wishing him a happy birthday as you exit the building this evening. Happy birthday,
Thank you,
Robert. And
darling.
we have another little special surprise for you.
Okay, thank you.
Here, Susan, let's all sing together. Everybody join Rivers and I. Happy birthday
Oh, come on.
to you. Let me hear you.
Happy birthday
To you. Happy birthday, dear Robert. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And many more.
I can't believe
The one correction, that date I had said earlier, October 27th, that's before the Auburn game. I know all of you know that. Thank everyone for attending tonight. Congratulations to the Ole Miss Women's Council on another great event. And Rose, I'm like you. Many times I've had the opportunity to introduce Dr. Robert Khayat, and I always say he's the nicest man I know. What a great night to recognize him and pay tribute for our 2016 Legacy Award winner.
Thank you all for being here. God bless Robert Khayat. Good night, everyone.